feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And you know how I feel. And you know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And you know how I feel. And you know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And you know how I feel. And you know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
5, 6. Okay. Okay. Let's let you take a look at me. I can take a look at you. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I believe Shanna and Lindsay and Claire. Oh, sweet. Elizabeth, you're back. Kelly's here, sweet. Jennifer, everybody, nice. Jackie, Louisa. Hey, Louisa, I really appreciate the comments that you leave on the YouTube videos. I don't always respond to them, but and you've already told me that I don't need to and all that sort of thing, but I really do appreciate them, and thank you. Okay. Down there in the corner is the lovely Tara, and I do have a mic if she decides to use it tonight, but I don't know if she will. No pressure. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. We are just plowing right ahead. That was a little thick. We're just plowing right ahead through the summer here. The viewership has actually stayed pretty solid. So, and it's mostly you guys that are here every week. We get a few new people in, and they're just as important to me, but I really do appreciate sort of the hardcore crew of you that are helping to keep this afloat. And I'm just going to keep saying it, that the plan for now is just to keep doing these 2 classes. I do want to do a Sunday jam, but just the way things are working out here in the homestead, it just hasn't really worked out. I have maybe a little bit of it's bad news for me, I don't know, but I am not going to be having class this Thursday. There will not be a live streamed class on this Thursday because, as some of you might remember, I am in school and all my stuff is due on Thursday at midnight, and so I do not have the 4 hours to put in. But we will be right back on Monday with another class. One thing I wanted to say, whether you're watching this live or in replay, is that I think you've probably picked up on this by now, but one of the ways that I believe that you keep a weekly class going, or at least that I have a method I've adopted, is to have different offerings so that it's not the same class every time. And so I think you're probably starting to feel how the classes can maybe have a similar, something to them, but be different. And so tonight is a tech class, and it's part of that sort of keeping things different. Now, if I ever hit a class that no one likes, I'll usually pull that class. Like, I don't know if we need to do the help desk class anymore. Y'all can change my mind on that. Or if there's a class type that you really like, if I get a lot of requests for it, from you, percentage-wise, then I'll work more into the rotation. But I do try to keep things going. And then because this is online, you're not stuck here. If you don't like tech classes, you don't have to stay for one. I'm stoked about the playlist tonight. I'll be honest with you, the SoundCloud gods really just blessed me with I did a little bit of addition and some rearranging, but for the most part, they just blessed me with a cool podcast, or with a cool set list tonight. So we are gonna. Oh, sweet, Sarah. It's good to see you too. It's good to see you too. We miss you. Yeah, I'm sure as this thing continues on that, there'll be periods where people can't attend regularly, and but when you are around, we love to have everyone here, and we love it when you say hi. Okay, so tonight we're going to be, since this is a Monday night class, I don't think I'm going to set up what 2Point is too much, but tonight we're going to, I wanted to sort of appeal by saying it's advanced to think that, okay, this might not be the easiest for people, but I think for most of you that have been taking this with me, you'll probably have done a lot of these things before, but Tara had suggested not that long ago that maybe I do a review class every now and then, or a class that sort of aggregates certain techniques just so we can remember them. So that's kind of what we're doing tonight. So the bulk of our music is going to be coming from SoundCloud, but I am going to play our opening sway. Sweet Sarah, hugs to you too. I am going to be playing our sway from my iTunes. And we're going to have kind of a funky sway tonight because this will be a sort of I would say this is a low to medium energy class. This will not be the kind of class that kills you. All right. As most of you know, we share the house with Rex here. We share his house. Okay. We'll make sure all the sound is good. You should be hearing music right now. You should be seeing me. And you're just about to start seeing Tara. Well, now you're seeing Tara. Audible breath in. Audible breath in. Someone said once, serenity is buried beneath a lot of air sometimes. And what she meant by that was that our breaths in and out can help us swim down or dig down or put our feet into the ground of us. Even though I grew up pretty extroverted, I was massively self-conscious. And the first time that anyone ever asked me to breathe audibly, I felt so self-conscious about it. I felt so self-conscious about it that it was as if I was being asked to change an identity of who I was. And thankfully, I went along and I listened to myself breathe in and breathe out. First I thought it sounded weird and I breathed in again. And then I realized what my self-consciousness was preventing was me hearing myself stay alive. To hear the animal part that is me living. Part of me that is subject to the rules of this world. And I found it quite harmonizing. And I felt the distance between my thoughts and my body close for a second. invite you tonight, if you feel comfortable, to hear yourself breathe. If not on every breath, then every other breath. Every breath in and out, you can imagine the petals falling away from each other. Opening. Sarah, because we shared such a special year, you with us, you're always fam here. This is our fam. We all pulled together and waited for the ship to rescue us over the summer, and it's been great. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move into the class portion. And actually, I wanted to do just a very quick minute or two of guided sway. Nothing major, but I wanted to invite you to try a technique with me. And if you know what tracing is in hooping, that's when you run, or at least in HoopPath, that's when you run your hand along the hoop, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to do tracing of our own body right now. And which hand leads and which hand follows, or if they both lead or both follow, that none of that matters. And what we want to do is use creative flow-based movement to unlock the wrist, to open up the senses on the back of our hands, since we're going to be using point. Good. And probably if you grew up in the 90s or whatever, you probably remember digits and things like that. But there are some cool movements that you can try that's super simple, like rolling the hands in on themselves. If you're super flexible or something, maybe have different stretches that way. And of course there's the whole sphere thing. So in our last little 30 seconds of guided sway, think about the shapes that your fingers are creating. Even though we're not going to be working on this so much, by thinking about it, by focusing on it, you can open and awaken the hands. And then just to make sure that we're absolutely, warmed up, we're going to take just a couple of like big steps, or your version of a big step. Good. Okay. All right, that was a nice warm-up. Wow, it's already... it's kind of an extra long warm-up, but we're going to be doing a lot of tech tonight, so hopefully that'll be okay for you. Okay, so now we'll switch over to my SoundCloud, my SoundCloud playlist. And before we get too much into this, when you do a tech class, I usually just play the music behind me. And I'm going to do that tonight. But this is, I really like this playlist. I hope you do too. It's actually, I did curate it a little bit. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about 2Point just to make sure everybody's on board here. And 2Point refers to how many points of contact there are. Now in HoopPath, especially like in the HoopPath community that is and was, when people think of 2Point, the first thing that a lot of people think of is something like this, because this is a super, demonstrable version of 2Point, and we're holding it here. But it could also be 2Point if I bring it towards the core, or if I hold it off, my leg or something. Any of this is 2Point technique. Okay. This is kind of a song that starts off with one sort of beat and gets a little funky later. Oh, wait, you know what? Sorry, guys, I just want to make sure that this is actually the right order of the playlist that I put together. Just take 2 seconds. Yeah, okay, it is. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with some 2Point basics, and then we're going to get into more of the advanced stuff since most of you have had it. The basics of 2Point are that I'm trying to keep the hoop, like this line pretty much up and down. So my hands, instead of being like this, that they're back here this way. And this is, this is kind of sounds weird, but this is what we call this is a grip. This is a 2Point grip, even though that doesn't make sense because it's gripless. But this is a 2Point grip, and what we're going to do to start off tonight, when your arms get tired, you'll just flip hands, right? Or switch to some other technique. And your arms can get really tired with this, so I'm going to try to make sure I give you guys breaks, or we take flow breaks. But what we're going to work on is developing this grip. And the way we're going to develop it is we're going to move our arms and try to keep the hoop just as steady as we can. Tara's doing a good job over there. And then if you know how to do the fold switch, you can go ahead and start to add the fold switch into this. So I'm moving, and I'm going to let that top hand drop to the bottom and the bottom hand drop to the top. And as they're dropping there, they switch places from not just up and down, but from inside to outside. Now, if your arms do get tired as you're developing your grip, remember that 2Point doesn't have to always be on opposite sides of the hoop, meaning that like my hands can both be inside the hoop, right? This is when 2 points of contact on the inside, with my hands anyway. Again, this exercise is about developing your grip, so you can take or leave my instruction. You can good. really like this song. Maybe I should make it a little louder. So this is Earth Cry. It's Anthony. Oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank on his band? His band is super famous. Oh, shucks. Oh god, I can't believe I can't remember his band. It's a super popular jam band kind of thing. They're out of Asheville, I think. Okay. Yeah, it gets a little funky here at the end here. All right, so just some two pointers. Dad joke. All right, but I can hold the hoop here, and then I can go back to that tracing of that we were doing earlier on our own body, and I can bring that. Might be a little right on the music there. I can bring that down to me, and that can create movement off the core. So one of the ways that 2Point can work is, and this is sort of obvious, it's not like a super magical move or anything, but it's just to remember that you can have one point and the other hand can act as a way to pivot around. Do you see how I'm just keeping this hand sort of flat here? Right? And I don't have to do this. I'm just trying to show you some things with 2Point. So then if I have that going, then anytime I push the hands back in, and this is why we're trying to develop our 2Point grip. It's because you'll start to feel, if you don't already, probably a lot of you have been doing this a while, you feel it already, but you'll feel control take over. It's kind of like when you're trying some crazy move and then the hoop goes back to your comfort zone, you're like, oh yeah. That's sort of what 2Point will feel like. Isn't this dope? Okay. Any thoughts, questions, or comments, Tara? Okay. Okay, so we're going to start to talk a little bit about rolling the hoop up into a fold. We're not going to spend a lot of time on these things too much, but this is me putting pivot on the hoop, right? I mean, one of the things, so Tara comes from a movement background, she comes from a dance background, but one of the things that she really just does naturally is she moves her feet with her hands, right? Like not that they're in some kind of coordination, I mean they are right now, but it's not that, but it's just that she kind of always has a type of body awareness to keep all parts moving. And if you're like me and you didn't really grow up with that kind of background, you sort of have to remind yourself to do it. And so even though I'm focused on developing my grip, I'm still moving my feet. Okay, now let's take a second to go back to this if I'm here. And the move that we're going to do, most of you know how to do it, but if you don't, is we're going to bring this up into this, okay? So we're here, and we're going to pick a hand. I'm going to pick my left hand, and it's going to drop as the other hand comes up, and then I'm in this. Oh, you didn't miss much, Tiff. You missed a boring opening talk and a boring sway, and now we can start. So we're here. But anyway, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. So I'm here, and I want to be able to bring the hoop up into this movement, this hold here. So I'm here. Let me know if you need close-up cam. If it's not good enough, I can put the close-up cam on, but you probably have it. Now, I can't emphasize why this is cool enough or helpful enough, because like if I'm in this sort of sustained stall right now, but outside the hoop, I can use that same move to fold up, and then suddenly I'm stopped. I can come back into that control. Now, some of you might get it on your first try, and some of it might take a minute. If I'm spinning to the left, yeah, actually it doesn't matter. I was about to say, give you a tip on which hand to drop, but it doesn't really matter. And then if you're somebody that's been taken with me forever, or you just really enjoy this 2-point stuff, I can start to, by putting the hoop in flight and sending it up, like turning it vertical, I can start to develop this pivot back and forth. If I haven't got it already, I can start to develop it. Now, this is a good way to think about this class is that we're training tonight, right? So the way that this movement might flow out of you might look totally different and better or completely different. We're just learning, this is a training together. We're working on a particular technique. Right? I really dig this track. Yeah, if you like this music, it's all on SoundCloud, and as you can see it down in the bottom corner there. It's a little messy, but whatever. Okay. So one thing I want to add to all of this 2-point stuff is when I'm turning like this, it can sometimes, because there is this sort of the physics of this, sometimes it can make learning certain 2-point movements easier because you can just sort of feel the pressure and the non-pressure. I don't know if that made sense. That probably didn't make sense. But this is me coming inside the hoop, and then I'm going right back out of the hoop here. So I'm coming inside it, but I can fold out of that anytime. Nice, T. So let's say I'm here, I'm in a 2-point stall, and then I can like fold in, well, all right. I'm in a 2-point stall, and I can just fold down out of that. Of course, any version of that is totally acceptable and cool. Throwing stuff at you here. I hope you're having fun. You can ignore me completely if you're in your own zone. But I can like use these 2 points on the inside to create kind of like big dramatic turns. Like you can do a barrel roll. I'm not that good. I'm not feeling super flexible after being on the computer so much, but this would be like a 2-point barrel roll if I this might be a little too nerdy, but one thing you can do then is anytime you want to stop the hoop, remember you just you just move a hand to the outside, right? So if I'm here in this barrel roll, and let's say I get tired and I want to stop, I can just switch the hand to the bottom here, the outside. Wait for 1 second before I add any more. Please let me know if you have questions, if you're frustrated, if you're happy, whatever, if you are so compelled. Let's say that, the back of your hands are starting to get tired or, whatever. You can switch to a loose grip. I could do something like this, whatever, or you can do point from the palm, of course, right? And if you want to do point from the palm, you just sort of bend the hands out. So there we go, out. And then if you're really ready to take it to that other level, you can start to bring your 2-point away from the hands and use your forearms or something. So I'm here, and this also takes pressure off the hands. And then it's actually, for some people, they actually find it easier to do it this way. or some variation, you know, like where maybe one hand stays high and one hand stays low. Right, I love this track. All right, I'm just going to give you a chance to kind of flow in your own way. You can use the techniques that we're working on right now, but if you need to take a break for your arms, I don't want to make you miserable. So I'll give you the next minute and a half here. Okay. God, I really like that track. I like this next one too. The next three are I'm stoked to share with everybody. Okay. How are your arms feeling? Feeling okay? Okay. All right. So, there is, I think rather than hops, I want to talk a little bit about folds. Now, we've done one of these before. And it doesn't matter that you get it perfect, right? It doesn't matter about that. But let me show you what the move is. I'm going to be holding the hoop here, and this is like an introduction to using 2-point for axial spins. So what I'm going to try to do is, for me right now, my left hand is on the top. I'm going to pull it back towards that shoulder so that the hoop wants to turn towards me. And then when the hoop spins, I'm going to catch it in 2-point again in some way, right? So I'm holding the left here, and I'm going to pull the hoop, and I'm there, right? Now, obviously, the quicker I do it, the sicker it can be. But I don't want you to hang up on too much on the success of it, because what we're really trying to do is we're trying to teach your hand that if the hoop walks in an axial way, like if it rotates on your hand, that everything's cool in the gang, that there's no problem there, that you're used to that. So this is what it would look like. I'm here, and I might just do something like that, right? I'm here, and I might just, boom. You know, in that case, what I was doing was actually pulling my hand off and for a balance just a second and moving it to there, okay? Boom. These are called axial spins. Well, half spins, I guess you would say. I don't know. Maybe spin doesn't need to be held up by a full rotation. Maybe you can spin a little. But that would be that. Now, if I wanted to go, of course, some people might this might be your jam and you really love this or you're very good at it, and you could try to go for like 360 or whatever. It's spinning either on the back. Tara just asked, is it spinning on the back of the hand? It's either spinning on the back of the hand or the fingers or an arm. It could be anything, basically like the move that a lot of the kids are doing where you flip it around your face or head or whatever. That's the same thing that we're doing here. Oh, let me bring some music back in. So let's say I wanted to come up to this nice tee, so that all we're doing is developing that sense of touch there. That's it. That's all we're doing. There is no success or I got it or whatever. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of success, but for the most part, it's just whether or not you're just teaching your body to be comfortable with it. Like this is me. I'll give you the sort of a show-off angle. I'm here, and I could just sort of knock it this way. Boom. Oh wait, I'm looking at the monitor. I could hear. I could knock it this way. Boom. Send it back that way, boom, right? Yeah, I don't mean that. I don't mean. I meant, yeah, never mind. Let's just put it this way. You didn't see that move very often in 2004. You didn't see a lot of moves in 2004, actually. This song is actually called Two Birds, which is just sort of perfect. Again, you know, is your arms, if you're, you know, I've been doing this for years, and so my arms, this feels great to me. Yeah, right? Oh, sweet. If your arms start to get tired, take a break. You know, we're having fun here. We're doing pretty good on time. I'll probably teach right up until 8 since this is a sort of tech class, and then I'll play a couple songs as a free hoop, but you know, veer away from me whenever you're ready. No, this is me doing that same spin move or the basics of it, but just keeping the top hand on the top, right? So now I'm just doing it really quick. Boom, boom. Nice T. Tara showing off some balance skills. Yeah, welcome to hooping, right? Where everything looks awkward in the beginning. Sometimes it keeps looking awkward. But I'll show you some just variations of what we're talking about, like why you might want to do it. So it's here, like I can use that same technique to kind of create hops, like it's sort of the same idea, but I'm just gonna hop along that sort of vertical twisty thing. Boom, axial spin. I don't know if that makes any kind of sense, but I'll give you a second here to sort of see it in both ways. Got me here, right? And I'm gonna hop. I'm twisting it. I don't know if you might have to look in the bird's eye camera to really see that is happening with the hoop. And then I could go the same way, right? Like I watch this way. Boom. You see that? So I'm turning that way, right? And then I can go back. Boom. Right? Boom. Go this way. Boom. Right? When I was a sprite young chap, I could go pretty fast at this. There we go. Nice, too. Yeah, hey, well, work that one direction. Michelle just brought up a great point. Always, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit here. There's a point you get to where you get to ease up on the first current, second current roll, okay? And that point is the point that most of you are at, where it's better to, if it's a new movement, you know, it's good to work both sides, and sometimes that is a good way to build. But if you're starting to find it, stay in your first current, because your brain will forget it. If it doesn't get it, it'll forget it, right? And so sometimes it's good to just stay in your first current with something, whatever the movement is. If you really like a movement that you just came up with, or just is new to you, I recommend drilling and drilling and drilling it and just really getting it into the body, right? Okay, where are we? Okay, cool. Yeah, these were like my three favorites here. I'm not sure about this one, but Empress. Okay, so what else was? Okay, yeah. So I do want to I'll stop the music just for a second because I want to make sure we get this one clear. If your arms are getting tired, you can shake them out. You can rub them, relax them, whatever it is. But one thing that we're going to briefly fill out tonight with is being able to move the top hand from one side of the hoop to the other side of the hoop, right? And so do you see how my hand, like my palm is facing you right now? I'm gonna pull my palm, but basically using the skills we just learned, I'm gonna pull my palm out and then put it here, right? And then what I wanna do is develop this back and forth, right? Where I can go from one hand to the other hand and switch that. Now this is more of a drill and it's not super fun. Okay, now the reason that we like to do that back and forth is because that's what really starts to set up the quick switches where you're not hopping to switch, the hands are staying in the same position and the hoop is just folding over the top hand. So we've done this one before, but I'll walk you through it just to make sure. So you can start any way you want to, but this is sometimes has been helpful for people. So I'm gonna take my hand, I'm in this traditional stance or whatever. We've been doing the normal one, and let me correct one thing. All right, so we're doing the normal thing here, and I'm gonna bring my hand to the other side. Okay. Now the reason I bring it to my other side is that sometimes to find this move the first time it helps. So I'm going to turn my wrist so that I've got some pressure. Let's see if you can see it. So there's some pressure you should be feeling on that top wrist. And then if you know, everybody's got different shaped hands, but then I can create this sort of opposite pressure. Good. Tara just did it with the knuckle or some portion of my finger here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my wrist out. Boom, boom, boom. So this is sort of the movement we're starting with here. And I'm holding it, for me, if you want to follow with me completely, I'm in my left, oops, I need to. I'm gonna bring my hand to the other side. I'm in this sort of goofy one. And then I'm gonna flip there, and then flip back, flip there, and flip back. Now, what makes this movement work, and where the sort of subtlety and sleight of hand is, it has a lot to do, the top hand is really what's creating the momentum for sure. But the bottom hand is this like sneaky little safety that's back there. And so it's gonna move from one side to the other side as you pull this move off. And that's what's gonna keep the hoop from falling. So I'm here, and if you wanna do it the way I was doing it, you would come to here, right? There, right? And then I'm gonna tweak it and flip it to that, and then flip it to that, and then flip it to that, flip it to that, flip it. And you know, I'm trying to sort of minimize the travel of my left hand, but then my arms get tired, I could switch hands, right? And then try the other hand. Now, if you've been doing this a while, you know, a lot of you have been with me for over a year now, and you have some tip or trick that helped you get it, you know, if we were in a regular class, you would be encouraged to share that with me. I'll bring some music back. We're going to end with these type of movements here tonight. And then this would be the portion of a normal class that if if your hands are beat and you just want to hoop, you could just start hooping with it. You don't have to stay here. So if you want to learn how to walk this, okay, then what happens is I'm here at the top, and what's going to happen is my bottom hand becomes the top hand, and it's going to move into that goofy side that we were talking about here. So it's here, and what's going to happen is I'm going to fold up and then put it there. Do you see how I'm in that goofy movement there? So I'm here. Now my left, it doesn't matter, left or right doesn't matter, but for me right now, my left is on the bottom, right? And so that left hand is going to go towards my right elbow. It's going to push up, and that's going to flip the hoop over. And then that bottom hand is going to come in here. So if I start to do the walk, it looks like this. Rex approves. He's here with me. Supportive. If I want to go the other way, then I do that movement again, right? But then this time my right hand will be making the move, and it's going to come up into that sort of goofy position there. And then one thing that helps some people is if you're trying to walk and do these flips, push up with the bottom hand. Push up as it walks, right? So it's... Sweet, Amber. Thank you for joining us. We're here. I'm glad you liked it. Boom, boom. I guess what I'm saying is you want to always keep in mind, it sounds stupid, but you want to always remember that you're actually holding the hoop up, right? So that as you're doing these flips, one hand is going to have to bear the weight. And so feeling into the weight of the hoop sometimes can help you smooth things out. Okay, since we are so late and deep into the class, I'm going to just lay off the mic and let you play with all of these things. If you have a question, fire away. If you have a request for something that we slip in really fast, you can do that. But otherwise, we're just going to sort of, more or less free hoop it out from here. Oh, actually, this is the song I wanted to play for you guys. I really... Take this one. Actually, there's a few on here that I want to make sure we get to. Okay, hey, Okay, yeah, turning definitely helps if you don't want to slow your shoulders down. But what has to be there, and I have a bunch of shoulder classes that you could totally check out on my YouTube as well. But you need push, and one of the things that helps sometimes is to take your arms, I don't know what they're doing, but to keep them out here and just kind of freak out with them at first. This is called mountain, and that keeps push going out, okay, through the hoop. And I'll show you what I mean. So when you're up here, a lot of hoopers, if they're learning shoulder hooping, they keep one arm, brought in, or... Sweet, Jackie, sweet. And so what you can do is do something called mountain, and mountain is when I let my arms just create a pillow of air, and they're underneath the hoop, and instead of being stuck to my body like this, they're bouncing out here. And then if you're into changing paces with shoulders, the higher you get those, the more stally you'll get. You'll send it to your neck if you get too high, but the higher I get, like see how high my arms are right now? I'm in a nice clean stall. Well, I wasn't a nice clean stall. I hope that helps. Jackie, I'm so happy that you found it. Autumn, we've all been there. I like that phrase, or that's funny. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. I have, my mom would kill me if she heard me say that. I've got a few more songs. This one I wanted to slip in before we called it a night here. But seriously, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, we will not have class Thursday. I just got to finish up school. I don't have just time. It's the finals, essentially, of my 8-week class. So, but I'll be back Monday. Actually, I don't want to waste this song on me talking, but big shout out to all of you that contributed to Anne's project. It's fully funded. We're not doing the podcast tonight because it got fully funded, but we are going to do it next Monday after class. We'll have a regular class, and then we'll do it Monday. All right, I'll bring that song back, and I promise I won't talk anymore. Michelle, thank you so much.
I'm done with the rat race, 'cause there's no love in the city.
Thank you, Carla. Yeah, I will have an HD replay. If you haven't checked out the HD replays, if you're watching this on replay and you can't wait until, the next day, it takes about 14 hours, but if you can't wait, the new replays are looking great. Thank you, Nicole. I like to hope I am. Thank you again, everyone. We're going to do what? Let's see. Let's do maybe one more track, and then we'll call it. And I'll go ahead and post this playlist. I did not get to a lot of it, but Tara, you're gonna have to entertain the crew while I get the music.
There's an ocean of pure, vibrant consciousness inside each one of us. Physics, I feel.
Okay, I think I have this for you guys now. Okay guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And no class Thursday. We'll be back Monday. Blowing you guys out all night. I just realized the music was kind of hot tonight. I hope it wasn't distorting. Thank you so much, guys. Really enjoyed it. We will see you next Monday, and we'll have that followed up by a podcast, a video conversation with Ann. We're going to play some videos. We're going to talk old school hooping. It should be fun. Thank you guys so much.